They need to throw all these billions in the world around because, well, still it is in US dollars, denominated mostly in US dollars, and Chinese currency, renminbi, is still not a global one. And what could happen if, for instance, this black man in the White House will announce that the dollar is inflated 50%. Instead 4.5, they will have 2 plus something in the foreign currency reserves. So China has started to spend the money. Second point, most of us realize that China is part of the BRICS. But what we don't realize that, like it or not, China alone is bigger than the 4 others combined in the term of economy, in the term of GDP, in the term of trade volume as well. Next dimension, which is raising, it's not only BRICS, it's Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India will join this year as a full-fledged member. And please remember that Shanghai Cooperation Organization is the first ever organization organized after the Second World War without any participation of any Western powers. So it is a challenge for us again. And finally, I would like to raise another term, CICA, don't mix it with CIA, which is a Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia, because in my opinion this is a third institution and third organization which is preparing a challenge for the outside world. That during the last summit meeting of this CICA in Shanghai last May, President Xi Jinping, President of China, has declared that Asia should build a security system without any involvement of the Western powers, again. So we have a new chapter as well in this respect. Now, we have a very peculiar situation domestically in China because we have a very strong leadership, like in India. I wrote recently an article, Modi-stan. So everything belongs to Prime Minister Modi. And the same story is with China, where the president, who is also Secretary General of the party, and his supervisor is the most important man for the military sector in China, Xi Jinping, he changed the strategy of the country, and in double terms. For the first, he changed the domestic strategy of the country, and this is the reason which explains why China is not raising double-digit, 10 or more % per year. China will grow maybe 6, maybe 7% maximum, because the most important day, he has announced 2 centenary goals. Centenary for 100 years of the ruling Communist Party of China, which is July the 1st, 2021. The first one is Xiaohang Shui, which means in our terms it's middle class. Actually, it is the term that they need to bring about a new class of consumers and a middle class, because the previous model of development already rejected. It was mainly focused on the export. China was exporting everything as the global workshop. And now China wants to focus on the domestic consumption. And first, you need to produce domestic consumers. And that's the challenge. But they spend a lot on it. And this is a totally different subject, but I need to put it as a title. Second, they also changed this foreign policy or foreign strategy. The previous one of Deng Xiaoping, the visionary, was called in Chinese Tao Kuang Yong Hui. Keep low profile, don't pretend to be a leader, gather your strength, and wait for a proper moment. And the proper moment, it seems, has come. And Xi Jinping last November, actually the last day of November last year, has pronounced and announced a new foreign strategy of China. And the most important inside of it, once again, this is just a touch, but I go deeper inside. but the most important are two. They say Itai Ilu, one belt, one road, which means new, very famous in ancient times Silk Road, which is a land connection from China through Central Asia towards Europe. And the second, even more intriguing, is 21st century maritime Silk Road, which means that China wants to be a maritime power, not only a land power as it used to be in the history. And now, if you mix it together, you will have stunning situation. When Xi Jinping last September, actually Prime Minister Modi is exported to China right now. Yes. He is during the final official visit in China, 3 days long, as I understand. When Xi Jinping was recently in September last year in India, they signed agreements for $20 billion for modernization of the Hindu infrastructure. When Xi Jinping a month ago went to Pakistan, they signed $28 billion agreements, and altogether combined it will be 46, because they want to connect a harbor city of in Pakistan with the province of Xinjiang, another Silk Road, which is a direct challenge to the India interest, to Iran, even to Russia. So we have completely new situation. And look, just a few days ago, last week, President Xi Jinping, media coverage, he was attending the main guest actually, and the main guest, the parade in the Kremlin, in front of the Kremlin, on the 70th anniversary of the finalizing the Second World War. But he was on a tour. He was in Kazakhstan, first stop, in Astana. He was in Russia for 1 day and a half, signed agreements for $20 billion once again. And recently he spent 3 days and a half in Belarus, on the outskirts of the Polish harbor. We have Chinese 170 kilometers from here. And they signed another 7 million, and the Chinese experts say that Chinese investment in Belarus is already more than $15 billion. So this is completely new situation. It is not low profile, but Chinese activities, Chinese involvement, Chinese in not sending T-shirts or the shoes or all kind of shit, if I may say so, spreading around the globe. They are coming to us with the banks, with the investments. They are ready for fusions and new gatherings, and this is completely new chapter for all the partners of China, including Poland, including the European Union. Now, due to the fact that my time is limited, we have two answers as far as for now, and those are half answers from the outside world. One is called TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, and recently, due to the Chinese challenge, or even if some people say, of course, Chinese threat, we had Shinzo Abe, Prime Minister of Japan, in Washington, D.C. They rejuvenated the military alliance between Japan, and what more, Obama, as the first president of the US after the Second World War, covered security coverage for the Senkaku Islands, which is a territory disputed between Japan and China. So we have also a new chapter. And the second issue discussed, the first one was, of course, was China. The second was TPP. And according to them, I was listening carefully to the press conference of both of them, and they announced that late May, early June, there will be a summit meeting, and finally, even Japan will join, because Japan is closed society, closed market in relative terms. And they want to open it for the American companies. So we will have a ceremony in 2 or 3 weeks' time, and TPP will be officially raised. The other answer is, of course, TTIP, Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, initiated as a dialogue and debate in June 2013. I'm not a very big optimist. I'm in favor. I think it is the proper time to rejuvenate the transatlantic relationship between the US and the EU. However, we have more and more dispute on domestic scene in both France and Germany, and probably we will not finalize it. There was a first threshold, the end of 2014, we didn't manage. Probably now we still don't manage until the end of this year, and later this year we have the elections in America. So, to finalize, because my time has come to the end, and I'm always observing the timing, I have this kind of proposal. Blame me for this, what I'm saying right now. So don't search for the culprits anywhere, blame me. America, United States of America, is not ready, institutionally, strategically, politically, in all aspects, including mentally, to be number 2. If you go to America now and tell them that you are number 2, they will use their opportunity and the human rights, freedom, and they shoot you with a rifle or the gun. Because America is absolutely not ready to be number 2. The problem is the main challenger, which I was trying to describe, China, is also politically, institutionally, mentally not ready to be number 1. So we have a kind of the power vacuum, which is a dangerous moment in the history, and Mother Nature doesn't know vacuum. This is not a vacuum cleaner. So somebody will come and will play a role. Who will be that? This is a real something for